even have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. And this is the Talk Beat Jones. This is the Talk Beat Jones. All right, we're live on the Talk Beat Jones. I am Billy, Dr. Talk Jones, right here. And they say, Billy, why the heck do you call yourself Dr. Talk? Well, see, if you got all this conversation that everybody's throwing out there and nobody understands really what anybody's saying, because most time the people that's saying it, they don't know what they're talking about. So the doctor has to come in and take it to the surgery room and, and kind of surgically get inside, pull the scalpels out, pull it out, make it so that us everyday folks, we know the truth. We know what's really, really going on. We're not taking that 910 Superstation stuff. Now, by the way, 910 Superstation, listen to Minister Malik Shabazz, and I want to give the men, the real men, that stood up on the Get Up, Stand Up program with Minister Malik, that came and let the people know who Minister Malik Shabazz really is. I want to thank the men who turn the tables and let them hear about what real men think about the hosts and people that are doing things on 910, including ownership and etc. Because if you don't have some bylaws in terms of conduct, then you get chaos. But why are they just now saying that? I told you that when the station first started doing what it's doing. But I tell you what, Minister showed me that love can conquer it all. Love can conquer it all. You don't have to get mad and upset. Love can conquer it all. And he made a believer out of me because the men came to his support last night like I had never heard them do it before. Why? Because there were some fools. Yes. You thought that you were going to step out and be the minions for this little ramen noodle, whatever that food is, come out, little stuff, but 99 cents, 4 watt in it. The man said he'd kick in the door to get him some of that stuff. Now you got a store. But anyway, the folks showed them that you're not going to come show out on the minister. Anyway, I'll leave it alone because this is Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones. And I guess people don't even approach me that way because the doctor will talk. But anyway, I want to thank you, and I want to give my love to everybody in the community, everybody around the world, and I've certainly been receiving the love from my folks in Oakland, California, in the Bay Area, etc. But again, my hometown has supported me, and I love you. And you continue to watch because Dr. Talk, Billy Jones, we're looking at developing a couple of more shows. That's right, under the banner of Billy Talk Beat Jones. Keep watching for it. Keep listening to it. I may need some of your help, but we're going to expand the television broadcast of Talk Beat Jones. That's right. So you continue to watch me, listen to me, support me, and we're going to continue to do what we need to do in terms of bringing truth to vision to this station, which is a very wonderful, great station. But if you got another stations that are throwing out, as number 45 say, fake news or news that is designed by white folks to put black folks in a position to cause division among black folks, well, we got to put more love out here. Hello there, you know what I'm talking to. But anyway, I've got, you ready, bro? Come on out real quick. Because we got to do the Bon Appetit in review. Yes, indeed. So we can get our program rolling. And, Mary, you there?
This is it.
Annie?
This is Annie.
Okie dokie, Annie. Hold on.
Will do.
You like that Jasuru? You like that liquid biocells Jasuru?
Yes, sir, I do.
Is it making you feel good?
Yes, good.
That
It
new
does me real good.
that new concentrated version doing real good for you?
Yes, sir, since I
They-
turned 88.
Well, you know, they say small things bring big results.
Yes, it does.
But anyway, hold on. You don't know what I'm talking about, brother. You're
No,
too
sir.
young to know what I'm talking about.
No, sir.
Anyway, good morning. Anyway, introduce yourself to the fans and friends and everybody.
Sean Watkins, Bon Appetit here. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Good morning to you and all the viewers and listeners out there in the TV world.
Okay, and family, I want you to listen because we're going to bring on the councilman from Flint. You know, I hear all these talking heads trying to talk and trying to give their thoughts about Flint. And because somebody has given them the power to be behind a microphone, they give you all of their thoughts, incomplete thoughts, hearsay thoughts. But we're going to give you the man that's on the ground, the person that's representing the city of Flint as a council person working with, well, tell us real quick about Bon Appetit. Wait, introduce yourself first, bro.
Sean Watkins, Bon Appetit. We do good food every week, and we cater throughout the week. So we just want to bring good food to the inner city of Highland Park, Detroit, and just Michigan in the whole.
And what type of food are you bringing, bro?
We love food.
Love food.
Comfort food.
Yes, yes. I
What,
like
you
that.
know,
Love food.
Yes, love food. Everything that we do, from the ribs to the chicken to the steak to the lobster tails, lamb chops, shrimp, we just add love to it.
I just want to do, like, I'm going to do it, and you can tell me who do this. Who does that?
Brother Malik.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You had me in my car. I had to, because you had all these ladies in there waiting on their food.
Yes.
So I had
Yes,
to,
that is true.
Yeah, I didn't want them to see me biting my fingers.
This past weekend, I want to say the ladies showed up and showed out this week. I'm from the time we opened to the time we closed. Oh, Mr. Jones, I want to thank you for last week, Linnell.
Oh, tell them real quick about the superstar comedian, and some of you seen her tour with Cat Williams and in many of the major movies, etc. That Linnell, the
Yes.
bad girl of comedy,
Yes.
my friend from way back. Go ahead and talk to him.
She showed she was lovely. She showed a lot of love. I think I showed you that too.
Oh yes,
There's a picture
yes.
of me and Linnell.
Did you put that on my Facebook?
I didn't yet. No.
Please
I didn't
do.
Put it on, okay, I didn't put it on mine yet.
Oh, yeah,
but
put it on my Facebook.
I most definitely will.
Because my folks that know us just blew up my page. Yes, sir. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so put that on there too.
Okay, I sure will. She was very welcoming. She loved the food. I just felt bad because you know, they were serving her.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody because you know the folks who own the club. Somewhat.
Somewhat, but I felt, you know, she deserved a little better than that. So
telephone number
I just, when I brought her the food, she
868
actually enjoyed it and loved it. So
0342.
thank you for that, and I appreciate all of that.
Yeah, that's the call in. Go ahead,
Okay,
That's the call-in
and
number, yes, sir.
every Saturday, y'all make sure y'all come on down and come on get some good food.
0342.
This week we did a few platters. We introduced the
There's a
platters
second number,
on Mr. Jones' show last week,
868.
and ever since then, it's been a
03
lot of
51.
response. We did a lot of platters this past weekend. So if you would like a platter, the platter consists of
0351.
2 lobster tails, 2 steaks,
Yes,
asparagus,
sir. That's it.
roasted potatoes,
Okay,
and
sir.
shrimp,
Thank you.
and lamb chops. Might I add that also? And the platters has been doing really good this since we introduced it on Mr. Jones' show. So I appreciate everybody that came out and purchased some platters also.
Well, you know, like we say, Sean, is that we were the first host to actually bring you on the air back in the day,
Yes, sir.
and then followed up with Mr. J.D. Hill giving you his love.
Yes.
And now you're seeing that Minister Malik is also now giving you his love, in that he's bringing you on the air. So it's spreading, y'all. And so how can they contact you, Sean, if they want to get some of those great meals?
Okay, 313-444-5048. 313-444-5048.
Now, you what time do you start cooking?
Early. I prep early in the morning, and we open up at 12. So I'm generally up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning prepping, and then we get down here before noon and start cooking.
Now, if they want that platter, when can they call you to get that order
Early in advance. You have to pre-order because
Hold on, Mr.
we
Mays.
have to get the essentials of the meals, which is the lobster tails, lamb chops, and the big deals out of the platter. So I would say advance.
Okay. Now, do you have any idea of your idea? I don't know why I get that idea. Of what your menu may be this week, or you just want to give them a little tease?
Y'all, they love the greens and macaroni and cheese.
Oh, excuse me. I don't want
and-
to sound.
It's been doing real good.
Yes.
So I'm thinking greens and macaroni and cheese.
I tell you what, I have that macaroni and cheese. I split it up so I can have it for a couple, 2 or 3 days. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you excited about what's going on with you? You got the van, and you got that program going on that you're going to feed a family?
I'm very excited because due to, like you said, with you, starting from J.D. Hill, then Brother Malik, everybody was welcoming me with opening arms, and all the viewers they're very, very supportive.
Oh, and we got to talk about your Thursday, Friday girl,
Oh, yes.
Colette.
Yes.
She's very supportive as well.
Very, and I appreciate that.
And I was hearing, I'm going to go because I got the councilman on the phone, but I also heard Miss Brenda Perriman calling you, talking on the phone. Yeah, I was listening on the sideline, Miss Perriman,
Yes.
talking about that food.
Yes. Miss Perriman loves she's a critic.
Yes.
And if she don't like something, she gonna tell you, like, I don't like it, I don't want it. She'll tell you. But every week, Miss Perriman makes sure that she orders some food.
Yeah, you don't want her on on her Facebook talking. Anyway, let's do this. Help me bring in the wonderful, the great councilman who stands up tall. There's nothing bent in his back, Mr. Eric Mays. Are you there, Councilman?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
We're going to jump right into it. We're going to do a little history. You went through the process with electing Miss Weaver as the mayor, and there's been some rebels on that council. Is that right?
There's been a variety of personalities on the council.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
I say it's been a variety of personalities on the city council.
You talking about split
Can you
person?
hear me back? Can you better?
Yes, sir. You talking about
I'm
split?
hearing the echo.
Yeah, it may be a little echo. Is that okay? It's okay because we have a speaker inside that sometimes reflect the echo on the telephone.
Okay.
So we have there are folks who support Mayor Weaver, and then there's people who, along with some outside forces, don't support Mayor Weaver. Is that correct?
Well, we had a city council election in November, and 5 of the former council persons didn't get reelected. So it's a different council now.
Would you say that this council is more favorable to Mayor Weaver?
So far, it's been some movement in that direction.
I want to put out a rumor that, again, as I talk about these talking heads that sometimes owners of radio stations will put on the air, and they'll say things that are unfounded. I hear them because they allow callers to call in and say whatever. They go, wow. And some people say, well, Mayor Weaver, she's changed. Look at her appearance now. She's changed. Huh? What is your thought on that, sir?
She might have a different hairdo, cut her hair grow back different. Other than that, I don't know what they could be referring to.
I'm just letting you know how flim flam some of these folks get on the radio and be talking that junk and be letting callers call in and talk junk. Let's get down to some business. What is the state of being for the family members in Flint in terms of the water crisis, etc. at this point?
I think the issue that's been in the news lately is that the state of Michigan and others are saying for the last year or two they've tested the water. It's come back meeting federal regulations and quality standards. And so in light of that, they have canceled the free bottled water distribution. And the residents are saying until you fix the pipes and until you recommend that we don't have to use faucet filters, we think you should continue to deliver bottled water because we don't trust the water coming through the pipes yet.
Councilman Eric Mays, they're saying that the pipes will not be dug up, replaced until the year 2020.
Yeah, about 6,000 a year. About 6,000 or so was done last summer. The bids are going out right now for the contractors this summer. And then one more summer, they're predicting that the outside lead service lines might be replaced. But some folks say that there are some issues with lead solder and pipes on the inside. So those things are in lawsuits and litigations that might or might not be settled in that same time frame.
We're going to come back with that lawsuit after this question, sir, that when they are testing the water at the site, which is the plant, sure enough, the water can be meeting the guidelines. However, the water flows through the pipes. Is that correct, sir?
The tests are supposed to be done at homes with lead service lines. One of the issues that's coming up in the prosecution of emergency managers, officials from the DEQ, is whether tests were being done properly. And so that issue, some found that they were not. And that's kind of what's suspect now as it relates to this round of tests. People are concerned whether tests are being done properly.
The testing that they're doing, is this transparent in terms of people being able to know, are they going to folks' homes and doing testing? Is that the way it's being done at random, or how are they doing these tests to find out the water that's coming out of these pipes?
Well, that's the big question. As an elected official, I don't know all of the places that they're testing. I don't know which homes are being tested with lead service lines or copper lines. So that's the same question that residents and others have based upon what has happened in the past as it relates to testing. So, it's hard for you or me to monitor everything they do.
As a Flint resident and as a representative of the people, sir, you've gone through this crisis, and do you trust the word of the folks that are saying that they are testing at these different sites and the water is coming back okay, not just the plant, but in these various homes that you don't even know where they're testing, but they're saying it's okay? Do you trust that word, sir?
No, I would have to have more data at my fingertips. I would have to have addresses of homes that they say they've tested. I would have to be able to go out and knock on those doors and see when and what and how. I would have to look at the laboratory and the processes. And so anything short of me spending that much time based upon what has happened in the past, I believe that people don't want to be prosecuted, so I would have to assume that they're doing things accurately. But I can't put my name out there and rubber stamp it yet because I haven't been that involved.
Sir, I recognize it, and you can give me the exact figure because I'm kind of hazy. There was a lawsuit or a suit that was settled for either 40 or 400 million dollars by the state for testing and treatment of the Flint residents. Can you elaborate and give us the correct numbers on that, please, sir?
Well, there's a variety of lawsuits. I know the concerned pastors had reached a consent agreement as it relates to the replacement of pipes. And so I think the number you're referring to is 40 or $47 million in that particular suit, which the state would be responsible for doing some pipe replacement. Now, it'll be a total of about 120 million, but that figure you're referring to would be about 47 million. There has been about 495 million that has been allocated, but that particular figure you're referring to would be 40 to 47 million in that concerned pastor's lawsuit.
Do you or are you familiar with if there has been any thoughts going forward for the treatment, or excuse me, for the testing of the Flint residents, the young folks, and any money set aside for their treatment? And let's just stop with those two questions. Would you be familiar with any of that information, sir?
Yeah, there's been money set aside for nutritional programs to try to mitigate lead poisoning. There's been money set aside for, I think, Medicare for a certain group of folks. There's been money set aside for educational programs. So in that 495 million or so dollars, there's been money set aside, including a registry to try to keep up with certain individuals. So there's been money set aside.
Now, for folks who've had young folks and seniors that have been affected by the lead contamination, they're going to go through, or can folks feel comfortable if they're tested and found that they have a high lead content in their bodies and system, that the treatment is going to be okay? When do you think that people who have been contaminated with this lead, they say that it causes all type of mental as well as physical situations that cause people not being able to learn or function in society as they grow older? What is your thought with that?
Well, the information that I have is that the damage can, and in most cases, in some cases, will be irreparable, and that when the lead gets into your body and hides up in the bones and stuff of that nature, that it's sometimes undetectable as to what level. So I'm going to go with that some of the damages will be irreparable, but you can mitigate damages and you can still do some things to help the learning and development process for kids that was affected between, say, being born and 6 years old. That was a vulnerable group of children.
Quick question, Mr.
This
Mays.
is Mr. Rashawn Watkins. He is the son of the owner of this TV station. He's also the producer, director, engineer of the TV station. I want to ask you a question, sir. Go right ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right. Quick question is there any data that shows kids or children, babies that was born after the water crisis, do they have any abnormal activities going on, or like any lead, any type of situations going on with them? Any data that shows that?
There is data. the doctor at Hurley Medical Center. She's been kind of on different programs. Dr. Mona Atisha Hanna, that's the doctor that started compiling data, and then Senator Stabenow and Peters and that crowd helped get about 50 million or more for a registry. So they have been tracking. I sat in on a class of young folks who had allegedly been affected. And in that classroom that I sat in all day, once the kids got to know me, we couldn't get them to focus on the schoolwork. They were jumping all over me and hyper, and it was interesting. So I haven't tracked it that close. I had that experience, but they are tracking and looking. It's been some special schools set up, but I can't be an expert in every area, but the answer is yes. They've been looking and tracking and keeping data.
Okay, now that they said that it's safe, do you feel comfortable with using or drinking the tap water that's in Flint right now?
No, I wouldn't recommend it at this point. We've got information that say if you dig up pipes and continue to shake the ground, particles break loose, scales break loose, and we don't think that it's safe based upon what they're saying.
Right.
And so I'll continue to fight for bottled water. I've even asked that we set up a bottled water factory or plant in Flint, and we can provide it, because from everything I see, the majority of Flint residents, whether they provide it or not, will continue to consume bottled water and supplied water for a while.
So is there a way that the governor or anyone that will get a cup, a bottle, whatever case may be, down there in Flint and drink it themselves to show them, because they raised up, said, okay, it's safe to drink it. They said it's safe, you can use it, whatever case may be. Did the governor or anyone out there test it themselves, drinking it, or took a shower or bath in it?
Out of just the regular tap water?
Well, the governor does that public demonstration, like the former mayor, the governor, President Obama, and them did it before. I think the issue is if they're living in it and consuming it and dealing with it day to day. Do they have a pregnant wife? Do they have kids at the vulnerable age? Do they have elderly with compromised immune systems and or respiratory issues? Because that's what's being prosecuted. Legionnaire's disease, a high level of pneumonia, and things of that nature. So it doesn't impress me that someone comes to town and do a demonstration of a drink. They would have to live here and have a vulnerable population and their family and show me that. But I don't think they really want to play around with that type of thing.
I would like to quote you from a guy named David Jansen. He was the senior assistant director of the Genesee County Drain Commission who was at that plant. And he states that he toured the treatment plant twice. He met workers there who also lacked some of the experience to run a treatment plant, especially one with problems. When other state and Flint notables drank water, when the Flint water treatment plant opened in 2014, Jansen said, "I didn't want to drink the water," but he wasn't particularly concerned about it without defining what he meant. So people who were on the inside, even though you had those photo ops, the people who really knew, they wouldn't drink the water.
Yeah, I read that same article. The equipment, some of those guys could look at the equipment in the plant and they knew that that equipment wasn't ready to properly treat water and even add in the corrosion control. I've sit in on a few of the preliminary exams as people are looking to possibly be bound over to circuit court for some of these felony charges, including involuntary manslaughter and others. So when you sit and listen to the technical aspects of folks who should have knew what to do and what equipment in a plant should be functioning, it is what it is. Folks just carelessly said turn it on and run it, and now we'll see who's prosecuted and take a toll of who died and what the damages have been. We'll see if and how they can be corrected. A lot of the damage has been, in my view, irreparable.
Your mayor, Weaver, calls this with the governor shutting down the bottled water situation, calls this a moral issue. And I just heard today that in the suit or the appeals going to the courts to try to get them to rescind this removal of the bottled water, that the judge that was due to make this ruling has denied the request to resume the bottled water. Now, my question, sir, is Governor Snyder, for folks who may not understand or may not know this, Governor Snyder has put together a wide net of judges all around this state so that he has power within the judges. So when you're going to court against Snyder and the state, more than likely you are going to meet a judge that he has appointed or judge that associates with other judges that he has appointed. What is your thought on that, sir?
Yeah, well, you have a lot of federal court judges appointed by presidents and Republican judges and have a certain way. That particular case with a guy who stayed on Orange Street in Flint had showed a test of 1,330 parts per billion. The action level is 15 parts per billion, and so he was way over at 1,330 parts per billion. So that shows you that individual tests can be way over. But he had left the house, and so with a standard of an injunction, irreparable damage, the judge didn't find in his favor. I believe that the Republican persuasion of judges versus a democratically appointed judge can make a difference. We know that from the makeup of the Supreme Court and other courts. But as this stuff continued to move through courts and with the big array of lawyers that has come in to Flint litigating, we'll hold our breath and see which victories we win or lose along the way.
Councilman Mays, sitting next to me is a young man that has family, and I'm going to ask him if your young babies were contaminated with this water and they were telling you about the lead contamination and what the future for your children, the outlook, every day, every year that goes by, and you're looking at your children, and we always want our children to be greater than us or be competitive in this society, and they stand that the babies and the young folks in Flint, I don't care about the test. I don't care about the treatment. My child has been damaged. What is your thoughts on that, Rashawn?
If my child was damaged, I don't. This is ridiculous. I'm speechless because they put on the news saying it's safe to drink, and now they're saying that they took away all the bottled water.
Yes. They're taking the water.
That
Yeah,
they set them
back
up.
when
They
this,
set them up for failure again because they're not 100% sure that the water is safe.
And Councilman Mays, the financial conditions of the black folks, I know that there are other folks besides black folks, but I'm going to just stay with my color. The financial condition of your people that you represent in Flint, are they able to pick up the fact that they're paying for water that many of those folks don't have any trust that's any good, and also having to go out and spend money on bottled water themselves? Can they afford that?
yeah, well, that's an issue. Just like in Detroit, with Flint, we got a variety of people. We used to have 80,000 people working in Flint for GM, General Motors. Now we got 8,000.
Wow.
You got people who are retired and on fixed income. You got unemployed. So you got a variety of different people in the communities. We not only had 4 pots where you could pull up and pick up water, but we had water being delivered to seniors and elderly and people who couldn't get out with cars. So this network of delivery and who can afford what is an issue. And so that's why we say, once again, do not put cost over health and public safety. We don't think we're there yet. And so once again, a decision has been made, and we'll come back and look and see what type of effect it had. But we're going to continue to fight and try to set up a supply of water. Churches and others have stepped up to the plate and is providing bottled water. Let's see how it goes.
Isn't that a reflective of the fact that the cause of this situation was the fact they put cost potentially over public safety, in which they would not use that ingredient that was going to cost, what, $150 a day to something of that nature to put into the water to protect the pipes?
Yeah, phosphates, corrosion control, but even though it might have cost $150 a day, they didn't even have the equipment to properly add it into the mixture. So yeah, that's what happened before. Cost over public health, safety, and welfare, and we're saying we're at that point now, because you should never put cost over public health, safety, and welfare, because we know things ain't corrected yet.
Councilman Eric Mays of Flint, where do you see, if you were closing your eyes and looking at your city and the result of the babies growing up, some of the folks that are right now in their 40s, 50s, that had to drink the water because they was pushing out the fact that, oh, just boil the water, which in essence was making the water worse, but they put that out for the longest period of time. Where do you see, and of course, I believe that the seniors who may have been affected with this water, where do you see your city in the next 5 to 10 years with the residents in that city, sir?
Hopefully I'll see them with all the lead service signs changed on the outside. Hopefully we'll see them with new hot water heaters and internal pipes on the inside. In 5 years, hopefully that's done. As far as the residents and some of the young folks, the elderly who has been injured and or compromised, hopefully we'll see them striving and doing well with certain programs and nutrition, and lawsuits might be settled. Property damages have property values have gone down, and hopefully those damages will be cured. But in reality, I don't think we'll be where I want to see it. And all of the things that I've quickly articulated. 5 years from now, we'll probably still be fighting to get justice in a whole lot of little nooks and crannies from this water crisis.
In your school systems in Flint, if these babies 5 years of age or less or in that range, once they start to get into the school systems, they've talked about the behavior problems. And Sean, let me ask you,
Yes, sir.
watching your child grow and knowing that they have been affected by this lead and knowing what they say you can look forward to as your child is growing, because they've said the children that have been affected with this lead contamination situation, many of those children will be uncontrollable, and what they're looking forward, for those persons who got the prison systems, they're looking forward to the ones that are 12 years of age and are contaminated heading off to prison because of behavior and decision-making processes. What is your thoughts on that?
That's true. That's true. That's what they're setting them up for. It sounds like they're not giving them no aid. So basically, when they get up to age to go to school, they act up in school. Where's they gonna go? They're going straight to the prison system because they're gonna have a attention ADD or
Attention deficit.
Yep, they're going to have those issues. So when I was growing up and going to school, they had class for those type of people.
And they shot him up with. I mean, they gave him Ritalin.
They gave him Ritalin. They took him to the doctor inside of the school, and they prescribed them with so many different drugs and medicine that I've seen a lot of people that was in those type of classes. I seen them go to prison plenty of times because they're not functioning correctly because you're pumping them with so many different drugs that they're not their regular person anymore.
So, Councilman Eric Mays, so what we're looking at is that when they're talking about these children that are of this age range, that they're going to talk about testing and treatment. Well, as we do understand, and I'm asking you, sir, I'm not making the assumption, but I'm asking, is the treatment a process where they're going to be having to give these children all types of pills?
Well, some people are cynical and believe that, when you got a predominantly black city such as Flint, that people do things in an experimental capacity, and they don't really care. And so they play around with water. To me, this was a fight of control of water from Flint to Detroit. That's that Great Lakes Water Authority, that regional aspect of taking control away. So, people have carelessly dealt with communities with black folks. Had this been in Bloomfield Hills or somewhere else, we believe it wouldn't happen. Remember, emergency manager law was placed in Ben Harbor, Highland Park, Pontiac, Flint, Detroit. These are predominantly black Democratic strongholds. So I'm going to stop there and say that I believe that some folks treat certain communities differently and experiment differently, and that's why I'm going to wait to see who all get charged and prosecuted. I'm still holding my breath to see if the governor and some of his folks and them Republicans get charged more so than the people that we're looking at in court now.
Do you, in being in the political field, sir, do you feel potentially that Snyder has made this ruling or has put this epithet that he is going to remove the water from Flint because now he is a lame duck governor on his last year per se as governor, and so whatever happens don't mean anything to him? However, as Bill Schuette is running to replace him as the governor, do you think that Bill Schuette, who is a member of the Republican Party, looking to replace a Republican governor, would have the guts to go against his party, the Republican Party, and charge a sitting Republican governor, which in many eyes, persons' eyes, political eyes, would be committing political suicide because of the outpouring of people from the Republican parties that would work very vigilantly against his being elected governor. How is your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, that's what we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see what role politics plays and whether or not he'll charge. I got a different view. I don't know if it would kill his candidacy. I think that he might do himself some good by actually charging. Remember, when you charge a man is innocent till proven guilty, the state and the city and all kind of folks been paying their legal defense funds. So we'll see what people have the nerve to do, because it's people all around Snyder, Rich Baird, Harvey Hollins, the governor himself. We'll see if any of these emergency managers, Darnay Early, Jerry Ambrose, we'll see if they've been charged, if they start rolling over and talking and telling. But sometime you should charge and let the chips fall as they may.
There is a person who was an appointee of Governor Snyder, high up, black guy, that under oath testified that he alerted Governor Snyder about the water situation much earlier than the governor claims that he found out about it. What is your thoughts on that, sir?
Yeah, folks were dragging their feet, and people now saying they knew they didn't know. We was out protesting. We knew the water was brown. We knew people was breaking out with rashes. There was hair losses. We also know that there were emails found where Lieutenant Governor Calley, Snyder, and others was involved in the interference with our mayor's election, which involved me. I was in it. And so, believe me, with emails we found, with testimony and communications, we know that folks hiding information about what they knew and didn't know.
Well, sir, I want to just piggyback going backwards just for a moment, because you mentioned about the mayor's race that you were in, and they set up a process so that you legally could not be elected to become the mayor of Flint. Give us a quickie about that. And Sean, I want you to have the last question. Go right here, sir, and give us a quickie about that. How did they conspire to keep you from being the mayor?
Yeah, we had filed, and I had been certified by law as the only legal candidate who had filed in time. The clerk had gave the wrong filing deadline, so the former mayor, Mayor Weave, and others, they couldn't get on the ballot. They'd have to do a write-in, so they changed the law in 12 days and put folks back on the ballot. And so we found emails from Lieutenant Governor Calley and Snyder and them saying we have to stop this guy. We kind of tease and laugh and say that Snyder and Calley and them interfered with the mayor's election like the Russians interfered with the presidential election. So we know their personality and how they can do things, and so we mix all of that type of moving and conniving around with the water crisis.
Rashawn, as a young man,
Yes, sir.
You of course have been around the media for most of your life. What is your thoughts concerning the family in Flint, looking at your family and listening to the brilliant, the outstanding Councilman Eric Mays, who's clarifying some of this muck that some of these call themselves persons on the air, giving a wrong information. We're getting it straight. We're getting the truth.
Yes.
What is your thoughts, sir?
My thoughts are is I have a question.
Please go right ahead.
Is for those families that's not comfortable with staying in Flint, is the city, are they giving them any funds to relocate, or are they just saying, okay, it is what it is. If you ain't got no money to move, you're stuck here, deal with the water, deal with this whole situation. How is that handled? Like, if I'm not comfortable staying in Flint, me and my family, is the city of Flint helping relocate families?
Yeah, the city nor the state has issued or helped with any relocation funds. There's been people saying that could happen or should happen, but we see nothing in that area.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
bad.
Okay, Councilman, we're just about out of time. Is there any last thoughts you want to address to the world, to your constituents in Flint, to the Detroit, Metro Detroit, the people on the internet, as such? Do you care to make any last statements, sir?
Well, I would just say for those who hear my voice, I've got a deep voice. I'm conscious of the radio, and so I'll start and touch on subject matters, but I talk carefully. If you hear me say anything, it's going to be accurate. It's going to be very careful. And when you hear me make allegations, they're well-founded.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, Councilman, you have been a friend to Channel 33, Cable Channel 91, Mr. R.J. Watkins, Mr. Henry Tyler, and, of course, his son here, Mr. Rashawn Watkins. And, of course, I am Billy E. Jones. You know that, and you've had you on with Mr. James Heath before. And we love you. We respect you. And hopefully, at some point, to keep the air clear so that we are just not hearing these talking heads giving all this misinformation and reading these newspapers that's giving you part information. We want to get it straight from the person who is the truth bearer. And, sir, you are the truth bearer for this program, and I hope to be able to call upon you again, sir.
Okay, thank you. And y'all continue to pray for us as we will continue to pray for you guys. It's a lot of issues. We use a strategy of declaring an emergency in Flint for lead problems. We've highlighted it nationwide, and we will continue to be a measuring stick for these type of problems. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman Eric Mays, Flint, Michigan. Thank you, sir. Caller, you have about a minute or two. You have a statement you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'll make this real quick, Billy. First,
Yes.
we got to give a shout out to TV33, WHPR. Mr. R.J. Watkins has made it happen for a bunch of people. I'll just shout out all the TV show hosts. What up, though, Mr. Most Wanted? I know you're very happy of your dad.
Wait.
Thank
DJ,
you, Billy.
Yeah, DJ, I don't have much time. You got to hit it.
for being that TV show host for TV33 that knows how to open up his heart to talk to everybody and anybody. Don't matter whether you like them or not.
Well, you know, I've learned from Minister Malik, when I'm ready to punch somebody in the nose, to don't do that. That's being a fool. A fool is a person that's going to react and do things either to cuss you out, berate you, or reach out physically. I've learned to understand that if I become the bigger person in this dispute, in an argument, then those persons of consciousness will reflect and support me and get over the stupidness of the person that is trying to put that stuff out there.
Well, remember, Billy, you got people counting on you. So you can't always negate the negativity. That's one of the things that we, in the hood, we learn through example. So we must start all doing that. No matter what you look like, no matter what you think. Just because somebody say or do something you don't like, don't mean you got to get kicked.
I got a minute. Finish up with a minute. I got to go. Give me a minute.
Right now, International Hip Hop got a new headquarters off of Woodward and
Thank you,
Grand
brother.
Boulevard.
Thank you, brother. I'm a proud member.
Thank you so much, Billy.
I love you. Thank you so very much, brother. Annie. Annie,
Yes.
tell me real quickly about that liquid biocell, that just Suro.
Liquid biocell Billy is good. It's good and better now because it's concentrated and it would do much better, make you feel much better. For instance, if you got acid reflux, it
Yes.
takes care of that right away.
Yes. And it has helped your joints, hasn't it?
Yes, sir, Billy. I'm finna walk again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that African Easy Silk.
But African Easy Silk hair products is good. I even did something with the top of my head, and my hair came out. Now it's coming all the way down the side of the face.
Uh-oh. Look out now.
You'll see it when I see you.
All right. Don't get too sexy now. All right. Thank you, Annie. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Sean, real quickly, Bon Appetit.
Bon appetit.
What day one more time?
Every Saturday from 12 until 6, 7 o'clock we close, but we've been closing real early because we've been selling out real fast. So if you want to get some good food, some good food, give us a call, 313-444-5048, 313-444-5048, 150 Victor Street every Saturday.
And tell me now, give me a quickie on what we may come up with Saturday.
Well, I'm thinking greens and macaroni and cheese again. I might throw some yams with that too.
Ooh, not the yams.
It's some yams with some cornbread with that.
Oh.
Mr. Jones.
And I asked for a whole pan of cornbread for me. Now, I don't know about y'all, so if you want cornbread, you better let him know, because I'm asking him to make me a whole pan of cornbread just for me.
Yes.
Not the minister.
Yes.
Just for me.
Yes, sir. I got you, Mr. Jones, because Miss Colette asked me did I have macaroni and cheese the other day.
Yes.
And I told her I'm gonna have to do it this week.
All right.
I'm gonna have to do it again.
All right.
know
I
y'all
told
love
you that
so-
macaroni and cheese, boy.
Oh yeah. Even my daughter, she was like, and my sister even said, she's like, you are better at this. Like, she eat my mama cooking. So my sister came, she's like, this is amazing.
Bro, you're getting greater and greater and greater.
Thank you.
You really. You threw in some cake.
I threw in some cake. How you like it?
Oh man,
Yes, sir.
I do the minister.
Yes, sir. Threw in some lemon cake with that. So most people that like Mr. Jones, Mrs.
Did you tell me you had
Watson-
fish?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Because I know
fish. I keep the fish on the menu because Brother Malik ain't. He ain't, I don't want him to beat me up.
I was gonna say he be talking stuff and saying God. They be saying God bless you, Billy, but you didn't ask him about the fish.
Fish, shrimp, chicken, fried chicken, dry rub ribs, barbecue ribs, steak, lobster, lamb chops.
Platter.
We have the platter, the most wanted platter, because everybody
What's the platter?
wanted. It's 2 steaks, 2 lobsters, asparagus, roasted potatoes, shrimp, and lamb chops.
All right. And if they got to put that order in early, call you
Put
what
in
number?
Advance, 313-444-5048. You can feed up a family up to 6 with that one platter that you're paying for. Really, it's a good price.
Oh, right.
It's a good
Well, Sean,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Mr.
bro.
Jones. Always.
all right.
Thank
Now,
you.
we'll have you back next week. 'Cause that,
All right. Yes, sir.
I'm liking this Bon Appetit in review. It's something people, because people ask me, you didn't talk to Sean. I say, wait, you weren't watching Billy. You weren't watching Billy if you say that. But Sean, family, if you want that liquid biocell Desuru and the Easy Silk Hair and Skin Line products, call me 313-412-3111. Let me tell you why the liquid biocell Desuru is greater now than it was before, and it was great before. It is greater now. It's almost like LeBron when he came in as a rookie, and his first 7 years he was great. Now in his 14th, 15th year, he is greater than great. That's the way we roll here on TV 33, Cable Channel 91, Roku Box all around the world, and the telephone. Call me, 313-412-3111. Sean, I better get out of here because Mr. HT would be throwing the Sandman on me. Hi, HT. Hi, Mr. RJ. You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. And this is the Talk Beat Jones. This is the Talk B. Jones